Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I thought I would address one of the questions that I saw in my comments, and this is actually a more common question than you would think. I get this all the time, but it reminded me that I haven't discussed this in a while, I haven't made this video in a while, and that is this ludicrous question of, hey, can I just do a cycle or two to reach my natural limit? Just to reach my natural limit. And the question itself is already comical. You want to be unnatural to reach your natural limit. Well, it's no longer your natural limit if you use stuff to get there. Okay, so that's already just a ludicrous, absolutely comical thing. And the point I want to make is that nobody has ever successfully done this. This is the standard line that people use to become juice heads. And I have no moral judgment there. I don't care if people want to use gear. That's their business. Right? I don't think it's immoral or wrong for anybody to use gear. I don't have any issue with it. I would say for most people it's not your best life choice. And I think that's a fair statement. It's probably not the best life choice for, the majority of people out there. And that's how I view it. Not a moral thing at all. But over to the point. I understand people have the temptation of that because we see everyone in the industry and the fake natties, and I'll be honest, this is where I'm just frank with you. None of your heroes are natural. I don't care who they are. Anybody who's making their living, making a good living, off of social media based upon their physique or performance, there's a 99% chance they're at least a very casual user. Okay? That's just a simple reality. And anyone who's convinced you otherwise is a good salesman. Okay, I promise you, your hero, he's on something. I don't care. I don't care. Now, that being said, I'm not even being judgmental of that fact. I'm just stating objective facts and my observation of someone being in the iron game as long as I have and who's observed the industry. It's the nature of the industry. So I get that. People have that temptation to say, well, if they've done that with just a little casual use, I could do a little casual use and hop on up to where they are. Well, here's what you're going to find. What you're going to find is that one or two cycles is still not going to get you to where your supposed natural hero is. And as soon as people do this, they realize that very, very quickly. Now, when I say casual users, I mean they're not using 2 grams. We have exceptions of people who thought were natural who are using 2 grams, though, don't we? Brandon Harden and Jerry Ward are both examples. Using a couple of grams or more at certain points while they've been on YouTube, right? Got evidence of it. Self-admission. So that should put it into perspective for people. And no, your natural heroes are not using SARMs. Okay, nobody uses SARMs. No intelligent, reasonable person who's serious about their goals is using SARMs. Okay, that's a current marketing thing that people are selling because of research chems. Anyone with a remote number of connections with 2 brain cells to rub together doesn't use them even though they're technically legal in most places, including the US. They're not cost effective. They don't have lower sides and they don't have better results than the other stuff. And they cost more. They cost dramatically more. Therefore, I can assure you your heroes are not using SARMs. If they are, they can't do math. They just like throwing money away. And that's fine. Maybe they're rich. Maybe they make $500,000 a year on their YouTube channel. So they don't care about spending twice the money or 3 times the money. All right, fine. But they're not using SARMs. Okay. So people need to drop that stupidity. I got accused of that. People said, Jason, you're using SARMs. I just laughed. I'm like, wow, you just called me really bad at doing my spreadsheets is what you just said. So, over to the point. Over to the point. Nobody does that. So, and also what no one does is just one cycle. Okay, let me explain how this works. This is the standard line that people use to convince themselves to go ahead and jump over to the dark side. Because I'm just going to do one. I'm just going to do one cycle. Yeah, and I'm going to reach my natural limit in one cycle. Sure you are. Yeah, okay, whatever, dude. Guys didn't reach their natural limit in that 5-month testosterone study. They gained a lot. They didn't reach their natural limit in 5 months of pretty hefty dose testosterone in human trials. They made gains. They still weren't that big. So, okay, sure you are, you're going to do one. No, you're not. It's not how it works. Nobody does that. Okay, I'm going to explain every guy I have observed over the last 20 years in the iron game who says that. It only ends two ways. Okay, the guy who's going to do one cycle or 2 cycles and then quit, it only ends 2 ways. They go on and realize, well, I don't want to be natural. I don't want to be natural. Natural's not as cool, it's not as fun. And they either become moderate users for the rest of their training career or the rest of their life, or they go full-blown all-out abuser. That's what happens, right? Because usually the guys who want gains and all they care about is looking a certain way, those guys always become abusers. That's the norm. Because they realize very quickly that the guys who they think look the best, they're not casual users like you think they are. Okay? And you don't maintain that look. And because they want to look, you can't cycle off and maintain the look. Can't come off and maintain that look, can you? So they become abusers. The other group of people, because that's 2 different categories of people right there, they either become casual users for life or they become abusers. The other group of people completely quit. And when I say they quit, I don't mean they quit gear. They quit training. In my experience, it's about half and half. About half of people fall into category 1. They stay on forever. The other half fall into category 2. They do a cycle. They cycle off. They get depressed because they start shrinking a bit, because usually they weren't ready for gear to begin with. They didn't build a real base. They didn't really learn how to train. They don't do their research correctly. They go on. Cycle off, they get depressed. Maybe they come back and do it again. They cycle off, realize they don't want to deal with the up and down of cycling. They don't want to deal with the problems of it. They don't want to deal with the depressions and stuff. When they come off, the lack of motivation, they realize they don't want to be natural anymore, so there's just no point in training. I've seen this happen probably 20 times. And those people quit. They just don't train anymore. They just don't see the point. So the people who go on and then come off, they come off completely. Off everything, including lifting weights, including a healthy diet, everything. And those people very quickly are among that group of people who I talk about, who, yeah, I used to lift. Yeah, I used to use a little bit of gear. I got family members my age like that. I know plenty of people like that tell me their story. Yeah, because once they come off, they don't want to train anymore. They just don't see the point. So stop making this silly excuse. You're not going to reach your natural limit on gear, and you are not going to do one cycle and then continue to train, okay? Nobody does that. There might be an exception out there, but I can assure you that they are the exception to the rule, not the norm. Okay, so people who try just one, they stay on, or they quit lifting completely. So here's what I would say to the guys who jump up and use this excuse. You need to figure out which of those 2 categories you're going to be in if you decide you're going to go down that road. Okay? because you're not going to do that original plan. Nobody does. That's an excuse. So once you decide, I'm going to go plunge to the dark side, you will not come off. You're going to keep going back on. You're either going to cycle on and off, or you're going to blast and cruise for the next 20 years, or you're going to quit lifting. So you need to figure out which one of those two is your preferred choice ahead of time and save yourself some trouble and stop lying to yourself. Okay? Or you need to just stick it out and keep training clean. Those are your realistic options. There's some tough love from Coach. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.